Hello, welcome back. Third recording of the day, Workplace Ninja Belgium. My name is Frans Houdendorp and I'm co-hosted.
With Peter Daalmans.
Nice, and we're still here.
Still here.
Luckily, in the last recording, it was a bit rainy. Thunderstorm was coming through. So, but luckily, the weather has been a bit cleared. So, no light flashes and that kind of stuff. So it's
Hopefully,
pretty good.
Yep.
So, still in Belgium.
I'm still inside, so
luckily,
why bother the rain?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? And we have another speaker on the table. Michael, welcome.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
This is my first time in this podcast.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're doing this for first time in Belgium, so yeah.
I've heard bad things, but it feels good.
Yeah. But I think we had you last year in the Netherlands, Workplace Ninja Connect. Wasn't that?
Was this alcohol served?
I think so.
Not during the podcast.
I think so.
But before or after?
Yeah.
My memory is not what it used to be. You can't get RAM anymore. All the AI is taking it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Also,
maybe
hurting my memory.
Maybe to start a bit off. Who's Michael?
Who is he not? No. But Michael is a guy that lives in Denmark, has a wife and kid, lives on a small farm, and then during most of the day he drives away from all that loveliness and sits in an office doing Microsoft security stuff as a consultant. So I'm a senior cloud architect and enterprise architect, I would say.
Another farmer.
Another farmer. Yeah.
Oh.
Not.
In the evenings, you're.
I'm sorry, I just misunderstood. In the evenings I go home and I just mow the lawn or something basic to get me far away from thinking about IT. Actually, there's a saying in Denmark about the mason's own house is falling apart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And IT in my house is not really a thing.
No?
I mean, I bought an iPad Pro for my wife because I don't want to hear any questions about how do I install this. So when she wanted a new laptop, I said, hey, try this cool iPad Pro.
Try this type machine.
Yeah, type machine. No, I didn't have to change the ribbon and everything.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. iPad just works.
So you're here today in Belgium talking about Entra security stuff and that kind of things. It was quite a funny title. It has to do with SSO Tax.
SSO Tax, yes. It's not something I came up with, but I came up with the fact that we should have a session on it and how Entra can help us. So it turns out there's this website called ssotax.net or something. Used to be SSO.tax. Somebody bought that. Really cool domain, but they don't really maintain it, so there's a fork. But it basically tracks all the applications, third-party, that don't offer free SSO integration with Entra ID, for example, or any enterprise-level IdP. But oddly enough, offer free login with Facebook, Google, all the consumer SSOs, and I find it quite annoying because it's like you're building these third-party apps and thinking, oh, I have this cool SaaS app where people can go. In my example, it was sending email, like SMTP services or newsletters. And then you're thinking, well, I'm going to offer SSO because there's some enterprise customers that want this or need it for compliance because SSO is the beep. But it's then they sort of charge extra for it. They say, okay, it's just enterprise customers that wants this, so we're just going to put it on the enterprise SKU. So, and you see this in many places, even GitHub. So you go, if you want to buy GitHub for a small company, you're just trying to start out developing something, you go and see at the plans. It's only the last enterprise plan that has full SSO. The others are like, you can log in with the GitHub account, or you can use a Google account. But that's not serious for any business. Even if you're just a 3-person shop that's doing Microsoft like mine, it's important to centralize all that identity because where is it we're getting attacked now? Is that the identity layer, right?
Yep.
The firewall's still getting hit, But it's like that's not an issue there unless you have really expensive firewalls. You have to pay for a license for security for your security product.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Cisco. But it's
It's a pretty cool site. It's like they have the wall of shame.
exactly, and that kind of inspired me to do this session because I was signing up for my little company. I was thinking, okay, we have hardcore Microsoft best practices security implemented on our tenant. That means we can't just send out email with SMTP for any, like if I make a small app or let's say I buy a NAS server and put it in the corner, I can integrate that with many different things, but I need to send out an email, it needs an SMTP server, I need to get that compliant. I can't just send it through my Graph API or something like that. So I
Preferred, yeah.
okay, I need SMTP service. There are a ton of them. For my volume, it's even free. I send maybe 10 emails a month from this service. So I go sign up, and I look for the SSO. And I do this for many of these different, but I end up at one specific provider. I'm not going to advertise for them here, because they're bastards that are taking my money. They want €1,000 for SSO. 1,000 euros from going from free, which covers 200 emails a day or whatever, it's more than enough for me. Then they switch to now you have to pay 1,000 euros just because you want to log in with one identity, which is basically protecting them from me, because if they get hacked, I don't have to worry so much about it. Yeah, their services could get stolen, but also it's good for them because they don't have to say they have leaked credentials. They don't show up on have I been pwned, for example, with my username and password. So it's good for the third party to offload the identity to my identity provider. That's the best way to do it, but they want to charge extra for this. And what I think there's also on that wall of shame is, and which I actually forgot to talk a bit about in my session, was that I think one of the reasons why this is so expensive and companies justify taxing you for SSO is because they don't know how to implement it in their app, or they don't care. So they go out and buy a third-party provider. So now you have many providers all of a sudden within your identity flow for one little thing. You're sending emails through whatever, and they charge quite a bit. There's one called Auth0, which is a very popular framework for doing this. It is super good. I've tried it myself. But on the free tiers, you get GitHub and Google integration, all that stuff. But you have to go all the way to enterprise to get the first taste of real SSO, where it's federated sign-in, so SAML or OpenID Connect. And I think that's bull beep. It's like, because then they're they're forcing all their customers that have a requirement from their customers to have enterprise SSO to then send that bill further on down the line. And I heard like for Auth0 it's like $2,500. No, $34,000, something like that.
Way too much.
I've mixed up way too much. Just to get a few thousand enterprise SSO users from whatever software is using that, basically. And I got kind of pissed off with that, because now, I mean, I can understand that in a historic perspective, but hey, has it been like 3 years with really easily accessible AI that can program? I tried asking it to integrate with Entra, for example, in some apps that I built. It takes a few minutes, and it works right away. And I asked also for SAML integration. Well, it just does it. It's not magic or anything. It just really works. And then people say, oh, well, it's AI and it's security, and we're paying for that over at Auth0. Well, this is an open standard that's been around for so freaking long that it's well documented. Like, all the AIs know this by heart. So, of course, it will build it. You can maybe then think, okay, let's do some pen testing on it before we release it to customers.
Yeah.
So then you lock it down. That is going to be as good as anybody human building that. I'm sure.
The fact that the frameworks that everyone is using and can using is documented. It's open and in the wild.
Exactly.
And AI, if you're using that is using public resources, you need to check it. But they probably do it better than some other developers that I have done something for years, so to say.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the funny thing about the thing I brought into my session. Of course, I'm complaining about all this, whining like a spoiled brat. But because I understand people want to make money, we're all in business in one way or the other, either employed or self-employed or whatever. Money is what makes the world go round, but it has to be value added like in a really sensible way. You have to understand that this is a value and this thing actually costs something. When you find out that it costs peanuts to run this and you're being charged an insane amount of money, it feels more like a scam. I use that S word. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
No, and you want to use that money perhaps for something that will actually give value to your company in a different way instead of. The thing is, this is the security department here. I'm putting on that hat. I'm saying, well, we have to have SSO, right? And then there's the marketing department that's like, well, we just want to send out some newsletters and it's like $10 a month. No, you have to buy the $100,000 license. Otherwise, you're not allowed to use that in our company, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then the third-party providers are kind of lucrating on this fact that security is being kind of a bully, but with good reasons. And whoever's buying stuff is just caving in, but it might be their budget actually. They're spending on it. Security doesn't care, like because it's not their budget, or it might be the other way around. Anyway, it's all these interactions and chains of effects that force this kind of purchase, and it feels unfair. I think we should stand up and do something, but obviously there's no way to do it. So what I did in my session is say, okay, well, what can we do with Entra ID to sort of stick it to these really high taxes? So what we can do, which turned out only one guy in the room had even heard of this, and it's been around for like, I think 8 years in Entra. There's something called the password vault. It's not on the documents in it, but it's not Azure Key Vault. But if you go into Entra ID, you create a non-gallery enterprise app and have this empty app. Well, then you can set up SSO on that empty nothing app. And one of them is password based. So click on that, and I could understand a few people have clicked on it, but then it's not natural what happens next. And that's what I tried to show, because we all come from the good old days of clicking around in Windows and learning IT the easy way, because that's what Microsoft wanted you to do, like click next. And now we have a product. This is not a next. You kind of have to know where to go, like with the old terminals, where you have to know the commands to get the value. So I showed that you set this up, this empty app, you go into SSO, click this password button, then you assign some users. And when you have users assigned to the app, like you would with any enterprise app to limit the scope of access, then you can click on those users and assign credentials to them, and you type in the username and password, and it's stored securely and replayed by the my extensions, my app extensions that you can put in the browser. So it's not perfect. I told everybody, it's like it doesn't have good auditing, and you have to probably do some workarounds, and it has to detect the fields on the HTML page because it's basically just typing it in. But it does solve a lot of the centralized management issues that, like, if you don't use this, well, the alternative, unless you're spending thousands of dollars, is that every time you have to set up a new user in the department, and you have to go and either give them the username and password because it's a shared one, because the service doesn't provide more than one user maybe for your little department of 10 people, or you have to buy a password manager. Again, that's also kind of a hidden tax if you don't need it. For some employees, you don't need this. I mean, you guys, we're consultants. We kind of have to have a password manager that is a solid product. I use Dashlane, for example. There's OnePass. There's lots of these. But for a function role in a company, you really want to lock everything down tight and know exactly, like, if this person gets fired and I close their account in Entra, what else do they have access to? They should have access to nothing.
I think
maybe the building access. That should be it.
Yep.
To be honest, I thought that feature was already gone. I think that was one of the first features in Azure AD, where you basically could say, okay, here's your corporate Twitter account, and you're automatically logged on.
Exactly.
without
That's
knowing
how-
the password
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But I thought it was already deprecated, but
Yes,
it's still there.
but it's
Really
still
good.
there, and
Yeah.
it's going strong. But I'm pretty sure there's no investment in it.
Not
but it's-
anymore, probably.
Not
But
anymore.
But I'm guessing there's so many credentials tied into that they basically can't get rid of it. Like if they did, they would need to supply something else. And I think, and hope that passkeys is actually the way to go with that. So what I'm telling a lot of small third-party SaaS app builders and whatnot, I'm saying, hey, please, you don't want to do all this SSO stuff. Please just do passkeys. It's not centralized, but at least it's very secure. So again, if you have this employee or offboarding and you use passkeys for, like say that was your policy, any third-party thing that we can't SSO, you have to use a passkey. Because then it would be again secure, credential breach doesn't happen, you have the passkey. But then you have to go get it if you were firing that person. The HR needs to know, oh, we have to collect their passkey because show hands, how many have not been told somebody was fired before, like long after, maybe a few days or something, and you didn't.
Where you got the out
Close
of
the
office.
you were told to set it up a week later. Because, oh yeah, we fired that guy, he was stealing. Okay, should we not close his account immediately the second you told him he might have stolen something? I have seen this several times. They steal data, they steal password, they sit and plot and wait and think, okay, now they've forgotten all about me, I'm gonna fuck them up, you know? That kind of guy.
yeah, there are still people in the world that want to do that kind of things
Yeah.
if they are fired or whatever.
I've seen some that just fuck it up the day after.
Yeah.
So, and I'm
It's
thinking,
not that fun, but
why are you doing this? Everybody knows it was you. Now you're getting sued, and then nothing happens, and I get like confused, and it's because people are lazy. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
too much work to go through. Like, can we just restore the server from backup? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, great.
is this the because of SSO tax and if you want to do SSO, a lot of money is put in place and so on and so on. Is there any other piece of software that you can develop by your own or can use within Entra to secure your stuff, or is this the
but
only way?
The thing is, well, it's logically the only way. There are many third parties that proxy in front of it and know the identity and everything and can log in. Cloudflare has the service for it as well. I haven't used any of those, to be honest, but the fact is that's again another thing you are paying for to solve. Maybe you're saving a little bit by doing that, but you're increasing your attack surface. You're getting many more administrative tasks as well. But in the end, federation, that is the software has to support federation, and if you have to pay for that, then there's no way to go around the fact you need a password or something.
Yeah.
And many of them now, because of compliance requirements, especially in the EU, they have this. I know it's very boring.
No.
But it is. That's because I said the EU and compliance. And in any
It's
case,
just the after lunch dip.
yeah, but they're kind of forced to enforce like MFA of some sort. So now they're giving you free MFA in their service, but again, you're still not getting that SSO. But now your users have to have MFA registered more places. Like it would be nice if we could just say, okay, conditional access, MFA authenticator, whatever.
But how easy is it to get a multi-tenant app facilitated in your? I've developed my own app.
Super easy.
I create a multi-tenant app, registered it, and within Azure App Services, it's that easy.
It's a couple of minutes job. Let's say you never tried before. It takes a few hours. So what?
Yeah,
it's
but
a few hours.
It's better
but
than 40,000
it is,
euros.
yes, exactly. But the point is, I've thought about this actually. So this is a Microsoft consultant thing. We're just thinking Entra ID. So SSO, any federation is usually like the old school way is SAML. It's still around because it can do a lot of things. But OpenID Connect is the newer one, which Entra really wants to support as well. 100% supports. but you also have many other identity management platforms. So it has to be sort of platform agnostic. And while Microsoft has this app registration thing, which it's super easy, you can even make it so you don't even have to have a multi-tenant app for this. You could have a provisioning thing running in your app that just makes the customer have their own app in their, so they can control the registration and whatnot. So there are many ways to go about this for Entra. But I fully understand we need to still embrace stuff like SAML, because some people still have maybe an ADFS server or something, because they have so many things wired into it. I'm a ADFS killer myself. I kill those
Luckily.
things because like my shotgun is loaded to get rid of all those relaying party trusts and just move them into Entra. I've yet to come across a system that was not supported to move to Entra. I have come across IBM, who refused to give me the new relaying party trust details so I could move to Entra, which was a strange case, long story. But anyway, it's we need to set up some sort of AI agent tooling that they can all use. I don't know. Claude, are you here? They're always listening.
Claude. talking about Claude and AI, because that is the session that was not accepted.
Exactly. Yeah. I had a vibe coding is what we're still calling it, but so I was talking to Peter about yesterday at dinner. It's like I feel like vibe coding is more of a I don't know anything. I'm just sitting here with ChatGPT prompting away, build me something, or I'm going into a actual vibe coding app like. There's Lovable and Base64 and Bolt. Many of these exist where you just go on a web page and basically start typing through. I feel that's vibe coding because you're coming into it with zero knowledge and building something. Super great. I'm a big fan of it actually. But security always has to also check this if it's something that will hold.
Yeah, not only from a security.
It needs to be used in something that could be a problem security-wise. Some apps, if you're making a puzzle game, I don't care if it's not secure. Like a Tetris with a high score list that can get hacked, who cares?
But it's not only security, in my opinion. It's also about scalability. Because if you are building an app, vibe coding for 2 or 3 users, it will do its work. But if it is used by thousands of people, then you have probably an issue.
That's a whole architect discussion right there. But my point with the vibe coding was that now I feel like we're moving to a stage where we're more doing this agentic assisted coding.
Yeah.
Like we kind of know some things that as IT people, and this is our audience, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of know something about like how would we do it with PowerShell or whatnot, but we're not good at making these cool web interfaces, or maybe like making a menu system in PowerShell takes forever if you're doing it by hand. You have to do the pixel placement of all the buttons and everything. It's horrible, this presentation framework or whatever you're using in PowerShell. But my point of doing like a vibe coding session would be actually more of moving people towards how can I make these small admin tools just for internal use. So no worrying about scalability. I'm not saying, hey, go out and build the next Ugo or Cock app or something, because this requires a lot more thought, especially more than what a session could hold. But I think like just having like the basics laid out in a 30-minute session, setting up a coding harness, could be Claude Code, something else, and then some skills on top of that. Not everybody knows what skills are or how to actually use them correctly or how to tune them to themselves or make them yourself. And that is like what I wanted to have a session about.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future, because then we go from like saying, okay, I know I need to deploy 500 setting catalog things and I don't want to do it by hand. I'll ask this to build me a script to do it or whatever. And then it will be built correct, be a really nice script, be well documented, structured after all the best practices. Like, it would not be AI slop if you set up your harness, as they say, correct.
I totally agree.
If I was as a human making it, I would make some human slop. It would work, but I'm not gonna write in 500 nice comments, and I'm not gonna publish it on GitHub with a cool README and all that stuff.
Yeah, it really helps, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people in our area are using it. In the day-to-day business at the moment, and it's what you say. It's different if you know nothing and you ask an AI agent to build something.
Yeah, either it fails horribly or you're amazed.
It's also
or
really
you think
addictive.
AI sucks. Why are you using AI? It sucks.
I think it's really
No.
addictive.
It's
Because
very addictive.
it's you see things appearing and think, oh, never knew that with one prompt or a couple of prompts this was. Yeah.
But
could
three
you
years
do
into
that?
this, I will tell you, I'm feeling that I'm getting very lazy actually, because I've got it set up so good. No, it's like I don't have to spend time inside the code because now my setup has matured so much, and it's a small thing that kind of grows, and you're not. It's not something I can like easily share because it becomes very individual how you're talking to what the memories are built and stuff like that. So now I feel my setup is so good for me that I don't have to look at the PowerShell code. I can skim it through. I don't have to like really go through it.
Yep.
And it removes a little bit of my old school creativity where I'll be like, oh, this parameter, oh, it didn't work. Oh, I go read and learn. Oh, I learn. That parameter has to be object and not a string you have to feed in. All that goes away. I'm not even thinking these thoughts. I'm sure something in my synapses are shutting down.
But in that way, we're all getting a bit kind of lazy. But on the other hand, the quality is raising.
That is really coming up. Yeah, definitely. And it's worth thinking about some of these things where there's some people on YouTube and different companies that are saying like, don't fire people and hire agents. Like, no, hire the agents. As they say, it sounds weird hiring an agent, but you will augment your existing personnel and really get them to a good place with this. I know a lot, they're just jumping into like, oh, give them Copilot and some training for that, like the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And yeah, if you get good training and understand what's going on with the LLM, like it's not alive, it doesn't know what you're thinking, you can't just say, make me a presentation and then hope for the best. It'll go and look, oh, yeah, here's a presentation on sugar, it's and you think it sucks. That's gonna be the wrong way to start. But again, if they get a little training in the companies, Copilot is a good place to start to get like intrigued. But I'm sure everybody will be like a mini developer, no matter what job role they have. As long as they're sitting at a kind of desk, that will be probably the first to not go. It sounds like killing off people, but that will be the first place where I think it will become a norm.
Yeah.
Like, you're not augmenting with AI. No wonder you're not behind, or you're behind on schedule. You're not up to par with the rest of us. Like we're finishing a project a day, and you're doing one a month. Wow,
Yep.
And customers are going to expect this kind of speed, but I don't see the prices for services going down too much, because AI is not free, and the price for AI is actually going up. I think maybe if they just announced that build these new devices and stuff, but I didn't see the prices, but
Way too high, probably.
But there was a 700 gigabyte RAM computer for just running a local LM. That's a pretty big model, 700 gigabyte RAM. Wow. And if you have that like in a company in an area, then you can just pile it out. But you have to pay for that device anyway. So your customer in the end is paying for that, right?
Absolutely.
So not a huge price drop, but I expect even the consultancy will go down a little bit because we'll be faster at answering ad hoc questions and whatnot.
I really look forward to the future within this area, because there is a lot. There is already a lot, but there is also a lot to come, in my opinion. So
A lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us in this recording. SSO
was
Tax, vibe coding. So we talked a lot.
It was a pleasure. Do we have an hour more?
Probably, but we
Next time.
we need to do a few other recordings as well. So
That's good.
so thank you.
I look forward to meeting you guys again at the next podcast 5 years from now.
No, not 5 years from now. If he's allowed to come to Switzerland, then we will definitely do that.
I'm not allowed in there anymore. No, I had to, long story.
We will do that. Okay, thank you for watching us. As I said in the previous recordings, have a look at the WP Ninjas BE social hashtags, whatever, so you can see the next recording. We will do 2 other recordings for the Workplace Ninja Belgium that will be uploaded in the upcoming weeks. So have a look at the socials that you can see that they are coming online. I would say until the next one. Thank you for joining.
See you.